Self-confidence is a subject that is talked about quite a lot. There are many definitions of self-confidence which all boil down to the same thing. What self-confidence is a feeling of trust in our abilities to accomplish any task and handle anything. But self-confidence is also the belief that no matter what happens, we will be okay. If we make a mistake, we believe in our ability to fix it. Even if things go entirely wrong, we still believe that we are going to be okay. In the workplace, self-confidence is our belief in our abilities to do our job well, to handle any difficulties, and to take on new challenges. I would like to point out two distinctions. The first is between confidence and self-confidence. We can be confident about someone else or about something. We can say, I am confident that we will find a solution by the end of this meeting. We can be confident about ourselves at a particular time or for a particular task without necessarily being self-confident in general. When we know we are competent in something, let's say in doing research, we feel confident in every task that is research, even though we might not feel confident in another task that does not involve research. This is related to our ability to recognize our competence. We know we are good at research, so we are confident that we can do a good job at it. And we are aware that we are not good at, making a balance sheet, so we can say with confidence that we cannot do a good job in that. Self-confidence is being aware of and trust the unique traits, experiences, or abilities that we can bring to the table, and being 100% okay with the fact that there are other traits, experiences, and abilities that we don't have. Self-confidence is a belief that exists without us feeling like we need to put it in display for others to be convinced. Because when we are self-confident, without bullshitting ourselves, then others are able to see it too. We don't need to shout it out. In this sense, quiet confidence is the best confidence. This does not mean that we believe that we are able to do anything and so we can occupy quietly a corner of the office without ever saying anything but doing whatever is asked of us. Quiet confidence comes with humility, kindness, the ability to listen, the ability to be respectful of other people. At the same time, it comes with the ability to speak up when needed, the ability to say thank you when someone congratulates us on a job well done, the ability to say what we need to say clearly and with a kind tone. So it is good to be competent and confident in our job, but it is better to be self-confident. How does lack of self-confidence show at work? Insecurity. Insecurity to speak up when we have something to say, being overly modest when someone acknowledges our accomplishment, or when we use a certain vocabulary, such as, I may be wrong, but here's what I think. Nobody wants insecurity, especially in the workplace. Employees do not like a boss who doesn't speak up when they should, or one who is always very modest and so doesn't get the recognition that they deserve, because this kind of boss makes them feel insecure. Well, if my boss is not speaking up, why should I? If they don't think that they need to be applauded for that thing that they did, why would I think so? And why would others? At the same time, a good leader does not like non-confident employees because they cannot be certain that they will do well at work. Because let's be frank, we cannot do well at anything if we don't speak up, if what we say falls on deaf ears, if we are not stepping up when needed and when an opportunity is up for grabs. Being self-confident makes us more reliable leaders and employees. Now, the other side of the medal. Why should we have self-confidence in the workplace? For a number of reasons. First of all, when we're self-confident, people want to work with us. They can be confident that we are able to speak up and make decisions. We are more productive because we are more likely to take on new challenges. We are more engaged. This improves our relationships at work and also gives us a higher chance of being recognized for our work and contribution. We experience less stress and have a more positive mindset on a daily basis. Even if we encounter difficulties on any given day, being self-confident sparks in us the curiosity to learn and improve our abilities. Even if we make a mistake, we are not hard on ourselves because we know that we are capable regardless of this mistake. But given that we are human and humans make mistakes, we are able to let go very quickly and move on to the next thing with our self-confidence intact. The opposite happens when we have low self-confidence. When we make a mistake, even a small one, we beat ourselves over it. Moving on becomes very difficult, and every single time that this happens, it damages our self-confidence a little more. Having self-confidence helps us solve problems. Being self-confident means that we don't waste a second of our time thinking that us not knowing how to solve a problem right away is related to our abilities, to our potential, and to our capacity. Instead, we immediately start looking for a solution. When we're self-confident, we have no problem going and asking someone else in case, for example, there is something that we don't understand, or suggestions, or to just validate our solution. In a bigger picture, it helps us advance in our career. When we are self-confident, we become more assertive, which means we are taken seriously because our words and actions have conviction and weight. Staying in the big picture, self-confidence makes us improve our communication. When we believe in our abilities, we have a much easier time to communicate effectively. Think about someone who you consider to be self-confident. How do they speak? Do they speak in a very clear manner, or do they sound confused? The first uses just a few very concise words to say what they want to say, conveying to you exactly what they mean. And the second, whether they use a lot or a few words, leaves you confused. And the ultimate reason why having self-confidence at work is important is that when other people at work see us as self-confident, not too much, not too little, they expect us to do well and to behave in a desirable manner. This is related to the Pygmalion Effect, of which I have spoken in another video, according to which we tend to live up to other people's expectations. That means when people expect us to do well, we tend to indeed do well. And when others expect us to not do well, our performance drops considerably. So the question now is, can we become self-confident? And if yes, how? We can. And we can follow a two-step process. The first step is finding your uniqueness. It could be a combination of things, such as traits that you have and you like about yourself, experiences that you have had in the past that make you feel like you bring something special to the table. Look at what you have already achieved. Acknowledge your achievements, even if they're minor. But don't just stop there. Make sure your boss knows about it. Every time that you achieve something, complete a task, or just parts of it that is important, share it with your boss, your colleagues. They cannot know if you don't tell them. The second step is building confident behaviors. A self-confident behavior shows in our body language, in our energy, and in our words. If you don't know where to start to have a self-confident behavior, the simplest way is to model someone else who you think is self-confident. Things like posture and the way we move are part of our behavior. Having a great posture, such as standing tall, composed, smiling, moving with intention, is the basis to have a self-confident behavior. A deeper level that influences our self-confident behavior is our thinking. We should think positively. And that we can do by having a solution-oriented approach at work and not focus on what other people are saying or maybe thinking, or how would we look if we were to do this or say that. Being focused on our work makes us more prone to taking action, asking questions, finding out and practicing what is a good way to say certain things and what is a wrong way. All this is to say that it is important that we have self-confidence at work, but it is also important that we convey it in the right way, with the right behavior. Because there is such a thing as too confident or arrogant, and too modest or prude. And it is our behavior that makes us look like one or the other. The second distinction that I want to make is between self-confidence and self-esteem. Self-esteem is one level deeper than self-confidence. Self-esteem is our real appreciation for ourselves and for our value. Self-esteem and self-confidence don't always go hand in hand. For instance, we can be self-confident when we have a high self-esteem, but it could also happen that a high self-confidence comes from low self-esteem. Self-esteem is not related to our abilities. We don't need to have a long list of achievements to have a high self-esteem. What self-esteem is related to is our overall value, which is built over time based on our life experiences and our relationships with others. Self-esteem is inward, and as such, it's more difficult to build. Having a high self-confidence does help self-esteem, which means if we're struggling with building our self-esteem, it is not a bad idea to start with building our self-confidence. To go deeper into building your self-esteem, there are a number of psychological treatments that are available nowadays, such as cognitive behavior therapy or compassion-focused therapy. The point of this entire video is to say that self-confidence is very important in every area of our life, and given that our work occupies the majority of our time, it becomes crucial in this area. And as long as it is possible to build our self-confidence from the ground up, to improve it or to just polish it, it is worth doing so. We can all do that by following the 2 simple steps that I mentioned. They are simple, but they do require some work, like sitting down and thinking about those unique points of ours, and then practice a self-confident behavior by modeling someone or through trial and error. But what in this world does not require work, right? There is a saying, choose your struggle. It comes from this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. What it means is, for example, if we want to be physically fit, what are we willing to do for it? Are we willing to put in hours and hours of working out and eating healthy foods, to sacrifice time with our loved ones, or of just chilling and watching Netflix? Will we choose this struggle, or will we choose to not be physically fit? Because they are both struggles. It is up to us to choose which one we are going to go for. Same thing for what I was talking about, self-confidence in our workplace. We do want to be self-confident, so are we willing to put in the work? If not, then we have chosen to live with the fact that we will never be as self-confident as we could be. This is about all for today's video. I will see you guys in the next one.